The average EDPI of a Valorant pro player is around 280. The sensitivity that I'm used to playing at is actually around 272 EDPI. Today, the sensitivity that I chose to play my placements on my alt account was around 8,000 EDPI. That is 29.4 times higher than what I am used to playing at. To give you an idea, this is what a swipe of my hand looks like on my normal sensitivity, and this is what it looks like on 8,000 EDPI. It may seem obvious, but this is not possible to aim with a sensitivity this high. Or at least not for me. So how in the world am I going to possibly win a game of Valorant when I'm physically not capable of aiming at my opponents? Well, something that we preach here a lot at SkillCapped is that you are capable of winning games regardless of your aim. Many players don't believe this and will constantly come up with excuses for why they're in lower ranks. They will say they always get one-tapped or their teammates hold them back. To counter these arguments, we've actually made series on this channel where we climb from unranked to diamond without communicating with our teammates at all. Because if your teammates don't listen to you, why should ours? But as soon as we do that, the goalposts of course move. Now the issue isn't that teammates don't listen, it's that we have superior mechanics that allow us to carry every map, which is valid. Valorant is definitely a game where mechanics can make a massive difference. However, what if we were to play the game with the worst mechanics imaginable? Would we still be able to win? Would we fall flat on our face? This is the question that I actually sent Teets to answer for us about a year ago. You may remember that he made this video. The problem with this video is that Teets is a big freaking baby.
With an 800 DPI. For this video, I decided let's shoot for the stars and go all the way up to 1.0. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I played with this for a few rounds and I started to feel nauseous. But if you look at the footage, it doesn't even look that bad. I'm able to trace corners fine, and it's just that my flicks are atrocious and required a lot of adjusting. After a bit though, I had to turn it down to 0.8. I was literally feeling dizzy while trying to calm, use utility, and just play the game.
Wow, I'm Teets, I'm feeling nauseous. This means that Teets was playing on 800 EDPI. I'm going to be playing on 10 times that. To give you an idea of how bad this is, Teets complained about it being very difficult to micro adjust. I literally could not micro adjust. My mouse was only capable of moving 2 to 3 pixels at a time, which is why my gameplay looks so choppy when you look at it. My teammates literally thought I was ChatGPT playing Valorant.
ChatGPT's on my team. GG.
Brimstone.
Okay, I can't deal with them.
So, if the most subtle movement makes me turn 720 degrees, how in the world am I possibly going to win a match? More importantly, my alt account is an Ascendant Elo, so is it even possible for me to hold my own in these games? Well, that's what I wanted to find out. Oh, and to make it even more difficult, I also disabled my Crosshair, because why not? Before we get started on our matches, by the way, I wanted to mention that I uploaded all of these placement matches to the SkillCapped website where you can view them and get an inside look of what my commentary was during these matches. You'll hear me explain my thought process through each game and how I got value, even when I looked like an absolute clown mechanically. In fact, one of these games I was able to win over my teammates so much that they even complimented my game sense. I went from being ChatGPT Valorant bot to game sense god by just applying a couple of simple steps that I will teach you in these commentaries. Along with this, our site is also backed by a rank improvement guarantee, meaning that if you don't rank up while using our service, you will get your money back, no questions asked. So hey, go check it out, and if you decide that there's nothing there for you, you've got nothing to lose. Also, every subscription makes my bosses like me just a little bit more, so if you really like my content and you want to see more, be sure to check it out, link in the description below. Starting out though, what's the first thing that you need to do when your mechanics suck? Well, a great place to start is picking an agent. Should I play Phoenix? He's a pretty easy character. You might think a high sensitivity would help me clear corners when entering. One problem though, my aim is going to be horrible. So while I could clear corners quickly and get traded out, this is going to take away from the bit of the value that I would get as a duelist. I could play something like Sentinel. Being able to place down trips would be great and provide my team with passive value throughout the game, but I had a better idea. What if I played an agent like Brimstone? His smokes won't be any harder to place. I just click on an iPad. His molly won't be that much harder to use. I've just got to point and click. And his ultimate could actually get me quite a bit of kills if I'm smart with it. I think this is a question that you're going to have to ask yourself if you genuinely feel like your mechanics are terrible. For this video, my aim was hilariously bad, but with Brimstone, I still felt like I could have a massive impact. If you feel like you have bad mechanics, maybe the best agent for you isn't Reyna. It's probably not Jet. It's probably not Chamber. It might not even be Sky or KO. Maybe you're better off playing a more supportive role like a controller and assisting your team from the back line. The even better part about Brimstone was that after I used my smokes and my molly, I didn't really have a lot to live for. It's not like I had refreshing utility like an Omen. Once I threw out all my util, the next best thing I could do was get traded. And that's exactly what I did.
You notice how we're just containing? Nice, good trade.
This is our goal. I'm not trying to kill anything. I'm just trying to get traded. If I get traded and I place a good utility at this game, I'm chalking it up as a win, you know? We're happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to try to be traded here. Can you trade me? I can run out. I'm going.
Spike planted.
Oh, man, it's so rough.
One enemy remaining.
She's on the gen. He needed himself, but nice. Good win. And notice how, like, even though I couldn't shoot jack shit, like, that looked hilarious watching me run in there. Mute him for now. That looked hilarious watching me run in there. I couldn't shoot a single thing, but because I went in with my Sova, he was able to trade me out and we were able to win the round. I didn't need to get a kill. I mean, it's awesome that my teammates were able to frag there. That won't always happen, but man, that was actually harder than I thought it would be too. The reason this works is because oftentimes on the entry, somebody is going to die. The first person in is going to be the first one that people start shooting at. So if I'm playing Brimstone and I've already used all my utility and I have horrible mechanics, I would much rather be the first one in and the first one dead if it means that one of my other teammates is capable of getting my trade. When my mechanics are this bad, if somebody is going to die, let it be me, please. This is going to be my bread and butter throughout the series. If I'm making plays alone, I am doing it wrong. This is already how you should play if your mechanics are good, but if your mechanics suck, it's even more important. Latch onto your closest teammate and just try to enable them. But that's not even the only way I was able to get value on Brimstone, and the best part is, it wasn't even that hard. Many players may not realize this, but Brimstone is an agent who can almost shut down a push instantly if you play him right. Take a look at this round.
Launching smoke. Molly.
Nice. You notice how we're stalling this push regardless, right? Okay, so Sky's here.
I've got your trail.
It's gonna be kind of rough.
One enemy remaining.
That's crosshair placement. Alrighty, we got this guy with crosshair placement. That's all that matters. Now they're in a 3v1. They should be able to win this. You notice the molly stalled it, so they were funneled into a different direction, right? So I smoked this, I mollied it. This is walled, so they can't come through here. So this is all that matters, right? And then they're forced into this guy into mid where we have a stack, right? So even though our teammates left here and I was able to anchor down alone, I was able to use crosshair placement to secure that other kill, even though I couldn't aim for shit, and we were able to clutch out that round. Just by placing a smoke as Brimstone and throwing out a molly, you can oftentimes stall a push for nearly 20 seconds, which is way more than enough to help your team reposition and help you. In this case, the molly along with my Sage is slow basically just screamed, you are not getting into catwalk right now, and allowed our teammates in mid to gather a few picks together. This brings us to another powerful thing that made this climb possible though, which obviously has to do with crosshair placement. You know, that thing that you hear every guide talk about? You saw that kill in the sky. I was trapped in a corner and I did the only thing I could do. I tried my best to pre-aim the angle and I strafed and I shot. Without good crosshair placement in this challenge, most of my kills would be completely impossible. In fact, most of my kills you're going to see in this video today are entirely because of crosshair placement. And you can actually tell because anytime I have to micro correct, you'll see my screen skip 3 pixels because my sensitivity is just so high. Don't believe me? Take a look at this clip of me actually trying to aim. Also, this Jet was top fragging on the enemy team, and everyone seemed super afraid of her. I just wanted to mention this because you guys are way too afraid of these duelist players when they rack up just a couple of kills. Anyway, though, as you can see, crosshair placement was pivotal if I wanted any real chance of getting kills in this game. To showcase this, take a look at this round that highlights something which was my personal hell during this series. 1v1s. As you could imagine, based off our first step, 1v1s pose a very difficult scenario for us, considering I can't exactly get traded in a 1v1.
One enemy remaining.
If I see her go into a corner, I'm gonna ult her.
Can you ult this, Brim?
No.
Open up the sky. Molly.
Last player standing.
Play time.
Stim beacon here.
Yo, dude, this aim is like actually scary.
Yeah, can't wait.
Switching sides.
There's no way that's real.
Scaring me.
Oh man,
Crosshair placement.
You'll notice there are still some clever tactics that I used to help me secure this round, such as jump peeking. I knew if I swung this raise, I was very likely to lose the fight, so I wanted to wait as long as possible before I could swing her. If I was able to bait her off the spike by jump peeking, potentially I could stall out enough time to make her panic and lose the round. What I wanted to highlight through the series is that I was able to win rounds by making fundamentally good decisions. Even if you have good aim, it's still probably a good idea to stall out as much time as possible from the raise here. If you swing her too early, you're giving her a gunfight that she wants to take. But as long as you're alive, there is pressure placed on her. Each second that spike continues to tick brings her closer and closer to losing the round. I stalled out as much time as I could, and then when I was forced to peek, I did everything that I could do. I pre-aimed the angle, I swung, I stopped, and I shot. Now, obviously, in this scenario, I got very lucky. There's no way I could have accurately micro-adjusted right here if I had missed. But I trusted in my crosshair placement, and I made the only decision that I could in the moment. And it paid off, because despite what people might say, these things actually do work. When you make good decisions and play the game fundamentally well, it pays off. Something I started to realize in Brimstone's case is that I actually don't even really need to aim to get kills. Brimstone's ultimate is crazy easy to use. I could just win rounds outright by clicking one button. In fact, because my aim was so bad, I started to intentionally try to farm ultimate orbs just so I could have more value in the match. Especially on eco rounds, it's better to pick up a few ultimate orbs than just throw your life away. Teets and I call this playing hungry Brimstone. I would just run around the map picking up ultimate orbs so that I could have my ultimate online as soon as possible. And the best part is, players undervalue these things like crazy. They don't even go for them or contest them at all, so you can get them for free. It was actually the bind game where I got the most value out of my ultimate though. Due to the nature of the map, I was actually struggling a bit since both of the sites are fairly split off. I wasn't exactly very good at playing retake, so if my team got run over on one side of the map, I would really struggle. Eventually, I realized this, and rather than just unsuccessfully rotating every round, what I decided to do is smoke long at the start of the round and just go for orbs. This orb long is pretty much free to the defenders if they smoke it. Especially in lower elos, players won't really ever try to deny you this. But you'll see that you really should at least make some effort to, because despite only getting 2 kills in the half, I was actually able to get off 2 massive ultimates on defense that led to a round win in 2 of our rounds. The first one was a pretty cool combo. I ran up short and used my ult with Raze's paint shells in short. You'll notice her paint shells are going to land in the doorway right here, and then my ultimate is going to cover nearly all of market, making it so they don't really have anywhere to run if they are here. While it's nothing special, this allows us to secure our first round of the game, which is super awesome. The second ultimate, I think, really just showcases how good this ability actually is though. While watching this round, I want you to notice how even though I don't get any kills, I'm still able to have a massive impact.
I led.
Smoke's
I'm
down.
gonna ult U-haul now.
Open up the sky.
And look, they all just have to like run out into my teammates while they're like, yeah, it's just like an absolute slaughter.
I've got your trail.
I'm just trying to
One
distract my
enemy
teammate,
remaining.
and the last guy's he's going short, so I'm gonna smoke this off.
Launching smoke.
Nice.
So if you missed it, you'll notice my ultimate actually forces the Reyna and Cypher to frantically leave U-Haul, leaving them out in the open for my 4 teammates to lay waste to them. Although the gunfight gets a bit hairy and we end up in a 2v2, once I arrive on site, I then just try to be a distraction for my Sova. My goal here wasn't to kill the Sky, since I knew that was probably unlikely given my sensitivity. Instead, I just wanted her to look at me, so that Sova could sneak up through U-Haul and kill her. Sure enough, he lands the kill, and then I probably luck out a bit that he wins his 1 versus the Gecko. But at the end of the day, even without getting any kills this round, I really did a good job of getting value in ways that I could. And that's what this video is about, getting value in the ways that you can. Because some days your aim just might not be there. Some days you're going to lose every gunfight that you take. And when that happens, you need to know how you can get value in other ways. I had the same conversation with a student the other day during a coaching session when his ping kept spiking up to 300. And while I think it's a fair statement to say it's probably harder to get value with 300 ping than it is with an outrageous sensitivity, what I tried to show him is that there is a 0% chance of him winning a gunfight on his own. The next best thing for him to do is stand near a teammate and get traded. When I was playing Brimstone, I found that as long as I placed well-timed smokes, used my molly to stall pushes, and played near my teammates so they could trade me, I could win games. It wasn't pretty, I didn't top frag, sometimes I even got bullied, but I won, and I gained RR, and to me, that is all that matters. Like I said though, not all the games were glamorous, so I wanted to leave you off with one of my favorite rounds from the 5 matches, which actually took place in overtime. I wanted to showcase this round as just a way to tie in the whole video together. I started out this clip in a 5v3, doing something that I've noticed a lot of players just super undervalue. I mollied U-Haul. Right now, the enemy team is performing an A hit to try to salvage this overtime round. And by mollying U-Haul, it's going to prevent them from taking any space for this post plant, meaning that once my teammates rotate over, this round is going to be very difficult for them to win. Many players may forego using this molly here, but the reality is that my main goal as a defender on bind should be to hold a location. I'm not trying to stall their entire push. I wasn't even in a position to do so, and sure, maybe I could try to take some gunfights here, but if I lose them, it's going to be pretty bad for my team. I want to emphasize that even if I had good aim, it's not a smart decision for me to take a gunfight here. It's a 5v3 right now, and we have the numbers, and nobody is around to trade me. The attackers want me to take a fight with them right now, so by mollying this entrance, it's actually super annoying for them as it prevents them from taking any fights that they want. Then, as this molly fades, you'll notice I walk over into an off angle and I take a moment to prepare my crosshair. This entire process right here is a mental play. There's no aim involved. I did something that every single one of you can do. I mollied the entrance, I picked an off angle, and I spent 2 seconds moving my crosshair into place. Because of my crosshair placement, I landed a kill onto the enemy Gecko and maintained U-Haul control for my team. This round isn't over though. It's a 3v2 now, and I still need to get more value. So what I do is rather than swinging out of U-Haul to take a fight that I'm 90% sure that I'll lose, I instead wait for my teammates to scale up. I know that the enemy Cypher is in pocket and he's likely holding me because he's not peeking my teammates. So while they're scaling up, I'm doing my best to just be annoying. I'm making noise and I'm posing the threat that I might swing the enemy Cypher. Because of this, you'll notice my teammates were able to find a 2v1 onto the enemy Omen, while the Cypher is sitting in a corner just waiting for me to swing him. Had this Cypher taken contact with my teammates, I would have done my best to swing and try to trade him out. But because he wasn't fighting my teammates, I knew that he must be holding me. After the Omen kill, I wait for my Sova recon and only then do I swing, knowing that he either has to shoot the recon or risk being traded out by me. I don't land the kill, but he gets immediately traded and we win the round. And this is the decision making that we could teach you too. Over at SkillCapped, we have been hard at work at making some of the best courses that you can find on the internet for improving at Valorant. I've got a Road to Diamond series, of course, that you can check out where I showed you exactly how you can climb all the way to Diamond regardless of team communication. And now we have this series where you can watch through my thought process throughout all 5 of these placements as I'm accidentally spinning in circles and how I managed to actually win. Or you could even check out the hour-long Aim God Masterclass where we teach you everything that there is to know about developing immortal level aim in Valorant. If none of that is for you though, we also offer individual viewer VOD reviews in our community Discord. And then we upload each of those sessions to the website as well for you to view and learn from. I think this is especially helpful considering most players actually have the same issues, and by watching them and seeing how they fix them, you can really make improvements for your own gameplay. As I mentioned earlier though, this is all backed by a rank improvement guarantee, so it's actually no risk. Be sure to check that out with the link in the description below and start ranking up today. We'll see you there. But in conclusion, can you carry without any aim? Probably not. I don't know what I would have done if my teammates couldn't shoot anything, but can you make round-winning plays and enable your teammates using your utility? Absolutely. In none of these games did I feel like I was completely dead weight. I was constantly making decisions that put our team in a better position to win the round, and even though I basically removed all of my mechanical ability, I noticed my playstyle still remained largely unchanged. I still made the same decisions I would make in a normal match because fundamentals exist for a reason. They give you the highest percentage chance of having a favorable outcome. I won 4 out of 5 of my placements in Ascendant Elo without even being able to shoot straight, and you definitely can too. That's going to do it for this video today though. As always, my name is King, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.